Fantasy football is fun when the running backs are fun and they're scoring fantasy points for us. But there's this phrase called running back by committee, and that's a phrase that all fantasy managers hate. And we're going to talk about it, though, because there's a lot of conundrums where some teams have a few running backs in some spot, and we want to know who gives us our best return on investment according to their ADP. So, Cynthia, I want to start with you first. Let's tackle this Miami Dolphins backfield. Who on the Dolphins has the best value?
Well, according to ADP, Raheem Mostert is actually going second of all of the Dolphins running backs. But for me, he is number one on their team. So while I don't love picking a committee running back at all, and by the way, it is noteworthy that Jeff Wilson went on IR, should be back later this season. Just keep an eye on that because that would cut into his value. But Raheem Mostert right now is going 45th. For me, he's in the 30s. So it's a pretty good return on investment. I love a good ROI talk.
I know. I'm like, this is
afternoon ROI talk. Who doesn't love that?
We're talking Cynthia's love languages here.
It really is.
Let's talk your love language of running back by committee for the New Orleans Saints.
I'm going to go with Kendra Miller as an ROI, bear market, like just really like you want as many shares.
Oh,
it's very I'm bullish on it. There it is. I really like, last season I really liked him at TCU. He was the college football version of his teammate Jamal Williams because he scored 17 touchdowns last year, scored a touchdown in every college game leading up to the semifinal game, the one that they won, not the one where they got blown out here at SoFi. And I really do believe that I love going with rookies. And we'll talk about this when we see the team that we drafted with the people. I love trusting rookies. He's currently undrafted. We drafted him last night because I'm like, I told everybody, I said, we're going for him because you just never know. It's just such an unknown commodity. You find Alvin Kamara's all the time. I mean, you find Josh Ferguson sometimes too, but you also find big values with these rookie running backs. He was a third-round pick, which nowadays is like a first-round pick back in the 90s. But I'm really excited about it.
He reminds me of Isaiah Pacheco from last season for the Chiefs in terms of value and their actual upside and input for that team, and especially in fantasy football. All right, can I tackle one, guys?
Of course.
I want to tackle your team, the Detroit Lions.
Oh, God, please do.
I love Jamir Gibbs. Is that crazy? Even though he's a guy who's going, in the first round, I still kind of like him. It says fourth round. For our fantasy draft with the fantasy experts, people are like, I'm taking him in the first. I'm taking him in the second.
I took him in the second, yeah.
Yeah, we took him really early. But for this fourth round ADP, it makes sense. Rank, you were just talking about the value of rookie running backs and their production. Even for this high spin to go up and get this guy, it can pay off because a rookie has finished among the top 3 running backs in 4 of the last seasons. If you look at what the Lions did to get Jamir Gibbs by getting rid of DeAndre Swift, they're obviously investing in him and understand they need to get him the football field. Yes, he's a rookie, and you're trying to hype up Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's also get involved in the passing game
O-line
as well.
too.
Great O-line. So Jamir Gibbs, I'm hot on you, buddy. Cynthia, let's go over to the AFC and the Jets. Who's going to give you the best running back value there? A lot of names.
I mean, yes, absolutely. Well, Breece Hall injury is a little bit like that asterisk, especially to start the season. I don't think he'll get as much of a share, which means especially to start the season, I have Dalvin Cook at his current ADP outperforming for the season-long kind of projection. Now, this is one that I do want to watch because folding him into this offense, and by the way, their O-line is, I'm curious to see how it looks on the actual football field, especially against a team like the Bills who are going to be looking to stop the run. It's going to be interesting to watch, but ultimately, to begin the season, Dalvin Cook, he's in the 20s for me, and he's trading at running back number 30, so you could get some value there, and maybe trade him before Breece Hall fully comes back.
Okay. I love that. Rank, back over to you. Washington Commanders, that running back named Antonio Gibson, finished as the RB28 last season, which was the highest amongst any running back on that team. Is he going to duplicate this year? Is he that guy in terms of value?
You really have to make a decision because Brian Robinson was good at the end of the year as well. But with the change at offensive coordinator, I'm going to go with Antonio Gibson.
Okay.
For me, this feels like an Eric Bieniemy type of running back, somebody who can catch the ball out of the backfield. That's a skill that they really didn't focus in on, which always baffled me. This was a player who is a wide receiver at Memphis, and yet they weren't throwing him the football as much as I thought that they should do. Eric Bieniemy should remedy that, and he has been a guy that I've tried to take in that 8th round even maybe reaching for him in the 7th. I think the value is there. I think it's worth taking the risk on. And if Sam Howell ends up being a quarterback that we can sort of rely on, he doesn't have to be great, Sam Howell himself, but can you get it to the players on that team who are very good? They got Terry McLaurin, they got Johan Dotson, and they got Antonio Gibson. If they can get the ball to him, it could be a really huge,
I like
huge
that
upset.
Johan Dotson is now like Norwegian. Johan.
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 Good Norwegian.
How dare you?
A good Scandinavian.